So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to day 4 of the AI Agents Bootcamp. And we have for the past 3 days, we have been having series of AI agents tutorials and training. On the first day, we talked about introduction to AI agents, talking about AI agents, architecture, the brain, reasoning, and a whole lot. On the second day, we went further by getting started with building and integrating AI agents. And also on the third day, which was yesterday, we looked at building a customer support AI agent. So today we'll continue with our AI agent, and what we are going to build today is really practical, right? So once again, I welcome everybody to this AI Agent Bootcamp, which is brought to you by Machine Learning Uyo in collaboration with Python Community Uyo, Python Community Anambra, Computer Vision Africa, Talents AI, and Newlands AI. So I'm super excited to have everybody here joining us. So for all the participants, at the end of the day, we are going to share be given different projects to do, in which you are going to get your hands on building one or two projects, and by the end of it you'll be able to get practical and hands-on insights on building AI agents. So I'll just go ahead and then share my screen so we proceed with what we have to do today. So for today our speaker for today is our speaker for today is Mr. Mr. James, who is a senior AI engineer at Meta. So he has been a really good friend of mine, and also he really has a lot of industry experience when it has to do with building AI agents. So, and when I actually reached out to him for him to be the speaker of this bootcamp, he was kind enough to not just turn me down, but he said, okay, I'll be available, I'll be able to contribute in whatsoever way I can, which really made it very much more interesting. So to give you a rundown of basically everything we are going to do, um, we are going to start by I'm going to present something else. So I'm going to present my slide now. All right, cool. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and present my screen, full screen. So building conversational agent, turning natural language into SQL with LLMs and DuckDB. So this is this is really foundational when it has to do with building conversational agents. So without wasting any much time, our speaker is here with us on the call today. I'm super grateful and happy to have you here, Mr. Nkpoikana James. So you can unmute your mic and speak.
Hello, welcome and thank you, Mr.
All right. So I'll before we proceed, I don't actually know if your video is on. I would really appreciate all its network. So talking about you have built practical experience and being able to work as an AI engineer at Meta. What would you share? How would you say how has your journey been, and what were the things you did differently to be able to land such a reputable role?
Okay, so everything everything in life is more centered on our determination and commitment. Our work life are things that we need to actually look at. So I started my machine learning journey some way back, I think 2019, December 2019. And since then, it has been me pushing the barriers. It has been me trying my best to get on top. So I ran into an advert. So I actually ran into an advert and I applied. So when I applied, I was called for an interview. I passed the interview, and that was how I happened to be working for Meta. So what we were working on, the AI engineers uh, trained a llama model. So that was our focus. That was what we were doing basically. So if I could get it there, it's a lot very possible for others. You know, it's just not to give up. Don't give up. All right. So I don't know. Please, can I'm still hearing some noise. Can everybody mute their mic? Can
Okay,
everybody
so
mute their mic?
I think the noise is sort of like from my end. So at this moment, I'll just go off the stage. I'm going to mute my mic and then I'm going to mute my camera. So you can start your session.
All right. So
Yeah, so you can share your screen.
and good evening once again. Let me share my screen. Uh, all right. So welcome and thank you. So today we are diving into how large language models, LLMs, and DuckDB can empower us to build a natural language data agent. So we are building a conversational data agent from natural language into SQL, and we are using tools like uh, the DuckDB, Streamlit, and the large language models. So for today's presentation, we'll be looking at why conversational data agents. Looking at this is the agenda now, the problem statement, the system overview, the key technologies we'll be looking at will be the large language models, DuckDB, Streamlit. Then we also have a kind of, though I think it has been done already, but I'll just do a brush through of the architecture walkthrough, and then we'll demo it with the Iris dataset, and then we talk about the design consideration, and we also talk about the and then what other aspects which we could work on, and then we have the question and answer session. So, what has been the future? Now, the goal is to make everybody. So, for instance, not everybody are data experts, not everybody are data professionals. So, how are they able to, with the advancements in technology, how are we able to bridge the gap between the analyst and the business owners? So, a vision is now to try to empower those non-technical users to be able to query their structured data using just the natural language. So by so doing, we're able to lower the barrier to data access and other things. So, and then there are people who probably they do not know SQL, or they don't know how to load the data, um, as well as using tools like Excel, Power BI, W. All those tools are more like rigid for them, and they also want to kind of like have something that they are go-to have. So it's easier with AI, with AI agents taking over. Uh, I know after AI agents, what we'll be having is agentless. Yeah, those are like future areas which you need to look at. So currently we are in the AI agent era. So with the AI agent era, you can see that a lot of things have changed. A lot of ways we handle things have changed because large language models, being the brain of the AI agents, have been able to take AI into a different level. So AI is being used to automate almost every field currently. So because of that, we are now coming into why we have the conversational agents. So for our conversational agents, we are going to translate from natural language. So when I say natural language, what I mean is just your normal English language, like uh, if you are asking a question about a data set, so a data set is just that CSV file, that data you have. So probably you had a sale record, you sold something for the year, and then you've been keeping a record of what and what you sold. Now you can use that, so you can actually extract information from that. So that's what we are doing. So it's more like you just asking a question, and then you get a data-driven answer instantly. So we're not going to be using the large language models as semantic interpreters. They're like the brain. So they get your natural language, they break it down, understand the question, and then they generate the queries, they run it using the DuckDB, and then they get or return the results of the query. So what we are going to be building for this class or for this session is going to be a Streamlit based app, which a user can upload the CSV file or Excel file. Then we will now be able to translate the queries. We are using the Hugging Face DeepSeek model, R1 model, and then we'll now be able to execute the queries that will be developed by the large language model on DuckDB. So key terminologies, I've mentioned that the large language model we'll be using is the DeepSeek R1. We are going to access the DeepSeek R1 via the Hugging Face API. And then we also have the SQL engine, the DuckDB. Why I'm using DuckDB? Because it doesn't require kind of a backend and it's very fast. It has this in memory, it's fast and it's local, so it doesn't have to require a backend. And then for our front end, we'll be using the Streamlit for the front end. So why the LLM? So I talked about semantic reasoning. So LLM, large language models, they have the ability to reason. They have the ability. You see, like most of the models we are having now, they now have a button. Like if you open Chat GPT, you open AI Chat GPT, you see that there's a button for the latest models. You see buttons for reasoning. Yeah, so there will also be a search button, create image, but there's reasoning. Now, those are like capabilities that has now been handed over to a large language model, making it able to think. So instead of just giving you the answer right away, the large language model will can actually think about the response. Is what I'm saying, is it actually right or is it not? And then they are able to also adapt to different schemas. Okay, so a schema is just more like a skeletal framework. Yeah, so for those of us that have been working with SQL, you should understand what a schema is. So a schema is just like a JSON file. It's more like a framework, the skeletal framework. So if I say I'm building a school, probably I'm building a secondary school. So I know that my schema will be there'll be junior secondaries, school 1 to 3, you have JSS1, JSS2, JSS3. Then the senior secondary will also have that. So irrespective of whether there will be A, B, C, D, the structure is just going to be that there's going to be SS1, SS2, SS3. So that's what the schema looks like. So it's more like the framework, split out framework. And then it's also domain agnostic. So with large language model, you can actually translate from, I know by now you guys must have used it. One or two people must have used it to translate. It can translate from French to English, from English to French. It can do a lot of um, other things, can do a lot of other things for us. So large language science in translating our intent into a structured command, especially when our probably the schema is not predefined. So why DuckDB? Why did we have to choose DuckDB? So like I said, number one, it is very fast. It uses an embedded analytic engine. DuckDB is very fast, and it is local. You don't have to set up like normal. If I'm using probably my SQL or Microsoft SQL, I need to set up a server. But with DuckDB, it's also an SQL engine, but it doesn't require servers and setup. It supports CSV file, but creates JSON Excel files as well. So it can run anyway. It's more like the SQLite of analytics. It's very perfect for our agent. And then why Streamlit? Why did I have to use my Streamlit for the front end? So Streamlit is developer friendly. It also have nice UI, so it's easier for you to implement those. So even without the knowledge of CSS, HTML, you can still deploy a nice user, carrying your user experience at heart. You have that UI interface, nice UI interface, and then Streamlit also supports real-time updates, so you can update as you go. Then the architecture or the diagram, like I'm gonna give us a picture of what we are building. So what you are building is first, this is the architecture how it looks like. So first the user uploads a file. So when the user uploads the file is now being processed. Now when the file is being processed, the user will now have to type the queries. What do you want to do with the file? Like you can ask questions like, what is the total number of rows in this? You get. So if I round run, what is the total number of rows? Now what will now happen is the large language model will now translate my query into a structured query language. That's the SQL, and then it will now the SQL will now be pushed to a DuckDB, which will now execute the SQL code that has been generated by the large language model, and then the results will be displayed. So that's the architecture of the something. So the pre-processing pipeline will be detecting the file type, passing through the strings. We pass the strings, the dates, the numbers, and we also sanitize the strings. If it is strings, we need to also make sure that when you're writing code, you need to observe that some code some data set that will be uploaded might be empty. There might be issues with the data set, so we need to also account for all of this. And then we now have the prompt engineering section. Now this is where we now be having. I'm going to show us the demo. I'm going to show us the live. So I'm just explaining the concepts so that when we go through the code, it will be easier for us to actually run that. It will be easier for us to also understand how to go about it. So the prompt engineering also comes into play. So we have a system prompt where we are going to tell the model to translate from the user query, which is going to be written in English, into a structured query language. That's the SQL. So we're looking at the examples and constraints, etc. And then we also make sure that the SQL will be enclosed in triple backticks. So what that means is, if you see that sometimes when ChatGPT writes something, some things are like bold, or when ChatGPT is generating code for you, writing, like in terms of writing before now, before we have the Canva, so when it is writing codes for you, since the codes are going to be enclosed in backticks, so you have options where you can easily copy your codes, and it's different from the write-up itself. And then we'll be using the Hugging Face inference API. Now, with the Hugging Face inference API, we go to Hugging Face, we go to their platform, and then we go to their API, generate an API, which we'll be using to pass and validate our outputs. And then we also look at how to handle the retries, the rate limit, etc. So this is the execution layer for the DuckDB. So a table will be a create table from the preprocessed CSV, and then it will now execute the dynamic SQL as well as fetch the results from the pandas uh, data frame. Then the execution layer for the workflow for the streamlit will be the upload box, the token. We're going to be looking at all of these things when we demo. So very soon we are going to our demo setup, where we'll be looking at our demo and looking at all of those things which we've been saying. So everything is going to be reactive with the streamlit. You update your queries, it will run, and then the UI, it fleet. It can change at any point in time. Now the demo. So I'll be sharing my VS Code screen right now. So please, do you have questions so far? Because we are going into the code space, where we have to, you know, where we are going to. Okay, so you can see my screen. Yep. All right. So I guess there's no question. So now what happens is, you see, so this is our file. So I'll explain the code there. So first thing, we're writing Python for those of us who are beginners. We're writing Python. So first thing we're writing Python is to import the dependencies and the libraries and the frameworks which we are going to be using. So for this task, we are going to be using about 10 or so. Yeah, about 10 libraries and frameworks. So the first will be the JSON. The next one will be the theme file. We use the CSV, Streamlit, Pandas, DuckDB, the request library, time, and then OpenAI. So we're looking at a whole lot of this to explain. Now, like I said, so now the first approach, or the first step to do, when you are building something like this, which at our methodology at the pipeline, I said the user will be able to upload his or her file, and then the file, like I said, might have some issues, like it might be a missing value, the encoding might be wrong, so, and the user's file format might be something different. So we need to catch all of those exceptions, so that our code will not run into errors. So we now define that's now where we now define a function to process and save the uploaded file. So first, this is the function process and save. So first thing, what is done is the file is uploaded. So a user upload the file. The file is saved as a data frame. So a user uploads the file, and then the file must be either it is, for now, for this version, we are only dealing with CSV file and XLSX files. So if a user uploads the file, our code here, what you are doing is you're going to check for null values. So this is like for null values. So we're checking for null values. Null values can come in the format of missing, NA, null, So we're checking for that. So if we do not see, or if a file is uploaded and then there are null values, or probably the format of the file is not a CSV file or is not an Excel file, it might be a text file like TXT. For this demo, or for this presentation, we are not considering the TXT file. We're only focusing our strength on the CSV and the Excel file. Okay, so we check for the exceptions. We check for uh, whether there is a missing value on the data set. So we need to check for all of those things. So first thing first. So after checking for the missing value, I have to first confirm if there's a missing value. If there's no missing value, it can go ahead to upload, and then it's going to save the file that is being uploaded as a pandas data frame df. Then there's an exception here, error handling. So if, for instance, somebody now tries to upload a file that does not match up with the format, does not match up with the CSV file or with the Excel file, it's now going to be a query, or a text will be returned to the user that the file format is not supported. So the user should please upload a CSV file or probably an Excel file. All right. And then, so after that, after the file is being uploaded, so from here down to this point, don't worry, I'll give you, I'll send my link. So this file will be uploaded to the repository. I'll send it to the host. So he's gonna upload the file to the repository so that each and every one of us can have access to it after the class. So this part of the code takes care of handling the file. So once the file is being uploaded, is now being uploaded and saved as a pandas data frame. Then after saving the file will now check for all the columns, all the strings, to make sure that the strings are quoted well. Like in this part of it, we are making sure that if the file contains string, like what I mean is, if it has a string variable like column, it's gonna check for it, and then make sure that we are using regex at this point, regular expression. So we are using regular expression to handle the strings, to make sure it comes with the real or the proper quotations. To make sure that the file format is good enough for us to save, and then we start the querying. Then after checking for the string, we also need to pass the date. Like what I mean is, the date. Sometimes the dates can come in different formats. There are sometimes that the date might come as months. That's for a data set that has a date, date column. So there are sometimes that it might come as month, day, year, and some can come as year, month, and so on and so forth. So we need to check for all of these things, and be sure that they are being handled. You understand? So now we're now going to the next one. So that's for the date. So this is how the date is being handled. So if the format is not okay, it's now going to bring up a value error or a type error, as the case may be. And then we are now creating a temporal file to actually save our preprocessed text. After we've cleaned all the data set, now we're now saving it. We're now saving it to a temporal file. All right. Then after that, you're now going to be looking at the function. So after you've done with the preprocessing, so this is the function that deals with the preprocessing and saving of the file. Okay, so this function takes care of preprocessing and also takes care of saving the file. And then We also have the next function, which is going to be taking care of, this function is now going to be taking care of uh, generating, that's the handling the queries. So it's going to be taking care of generating the SQL queries. So we're looking, like I said, we are using a DeepSeek model. So this is DeepSeek R1 Distill combination with Queen is 1.5 billion parameter. So I'm going to show you how we can get this. Then this one now will require the token. So I'll show you how we are going to create the tokens, for those of us that will be creating the tokens. So you'll be seeing how to create the tokens. All right. Um, so first thing first, to be able to create the token, so first thing first, you need to uh, log into go to huggingface.co. Then you log into your account. And you log into your account. I don't know why it's I think it's taking some time to load. Okay, so while it is loading, to have your token, what you need to do is to just go straight to uh the Hugging Face environment. Yeah, I think it's open. I can quickly log in. Let me try logging in. Okay, so you're supposed to log in.
So we can only
Okay,
see
go
your
on.
code screen, not like the login face screen.
Okay, you can only see my code screen. Let me see that. Let me try sharing. I'm showing my full screen, so that means you should see my screen. You're seeing this, right?
Yes, I can see now.
Okay. So with this platform, just come over here, come over to login, and then you log into. I don't know why I'm having this for error. I think it's something related to my network. I'm not on VPN. Why is it showing that? I'm not on VPN. Let me try a different browser. I don't know what's up. Why is my own face? Uh, why is my own face getting revealed? What's up? Still the same thing. Okay, so for those of us that is trying, just I think you can log into this. I think I need to be on VPN to access that. Let me try running it on VPN. Let me try turning my VPN on so I can try access that. Uh, okay, so just hold on, my VPN is coming on. My VPN is coming on. Okay, I don't know why. Victor or Marvel. Marvel.
Yes. So yeah,
Sorry, can you share your
if you have the token, you
so
have
if
the
you have
token
the token, can
already
you share your screen? Can you share your screen? I want you to share your screen. Open to the organface.com so I
on
can show them how
Face.
to create.
Okay, let me
Yeah,
see my screen.
yeah, you share your screen. I'll just get you on what to do. I think I'm being bad. Um,
Um, okay. Can you see my screen now?
okay, yes, I can see your screen. So have you signed in to your browser? Sign in to go to organface.co. Open your browser, go to organface.co. I think I'm seeing your Git.
Is it okay? Let me just,
You're sharing your GitHub.
you are seeing my GitHub.
Yeah, I'm seeing your GitHub here.
Okay. Um, let me just share my entire screen. All right. Can you see now?
Okay. All right. Okay. So nice. So for I don't know. I think
So
I'm
as
being
you get,
limited. So to get the API, let's just demonstrate it for those that are following. So there's a menu bar. Yeah. So you click on that, and you now scroll down to settings. You can click settings for those that are still gonna be there, or you go to settings. You see settings. Yeah.
from my profile.
No. It's just there. You see a settings. Look at it there. No. Not on your profile. Go back
Oh,
and look at it here. Settings. It's on
okay.
your screen already. Go up. You fast. Go up. Have you clicked it? Go up.
I can't. Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah. So scroll
Okay.
down. Now you see access
Access
token.
token.
Yeah.
Um. Okay.
And now to confirm your identity.
All right. I have some access token here already. Can I see proceed with this?
Yeah. So you can create another one. So create another one. Create another one.
I can call you. So, what
Uh,
permission should we give it?
agent. So fine grain is okay.
I-
Fine
Okay.
grain, so that it can be it can do the reading, can do the writing. So your name should be
Okay.
data agent. Can be
So,
anything. Data agent.
Mm-hmm.
Then so we read assets here, inference too. To be able to make inference here, make inference call as well, access the webhook. Okay, so for those of us that are following, that's just the same thing you'll be doing. And then, yep, I think that's all. Can I scroll down? That's all. That's all. Scroll down. You don't need to select the repo. Scroll down. Create token.
Okay. That's
On
great.
create token. Yeah.
All right.
Then
I'll copy it. I'll send it to you.
okay. So send it to me. Yeah, send it to me. Send it to me.
Once. All right. So
All
I'll
right.
just stop sharing my screen.
Yes, you can stop sharing your screen. All right. Let me start sharing my screen. All right. So you can see, so that's how to get the token. So you need to get your token. So this token is what you're going to input. I'll show you where you're going to input this token. So this is like placeholders, like variables that will be storing your token. And then you now have the system prompt. That's the prompt engineering I was talking about. So the prompt I'm giving to this is like you are a helpful data analyst expert. Given a natural language question and a table called DF, comma, and now asking generate a DuckDB SQL query. Generate a DuckDB SQL query. So this is like the system from this is now what the agent is now going to act like. So the agent will now act like a data analyst expert to do that. And then after that, it's gonna like retry. I've put in some error handling. I'm trying to like rush because my time is fasting. So they're like error handling that handles in case of after several retries, you can just try and then you get it done. So this is the Streamlit app. This is the part that handles the Streamlit. So on this part handles the sidebar. Uh, this part handles the sidebar, and this one handles the uploaded app. So let's demo it so we can see what we've been talking about, what we are going to be building. Okay, so to run it, just to run Streamlit, run app.py. So whatever your file is. So for this, our file is Streamlit. So Streamlit run app.py. So for those that have not run this before, you need to make sure that you've installed your the requirement.txt or the libraries so that you'll be able to run the file. Okay, so Streamlit run app.py. So let's see what's up. Yep, my bad. Needed to change the directory. What's it called? Auto data analyst. Okay, so we had that because I did not set the directory to my code. Yeah. All right. So I'm running the Streamlit run app.py right now.
Senior AI. Yeah.
Okay, so it's loading. So it's now open. Let me share my screen. Let me share the entire screen so you can see where it is running. Now that's Streamlit command opens a web browser, a web browser tab. Okay, so this is it. It is loading. So the Streamlit command opens a web browser. It's actually running. Okay, so this is what we've been trying to demo. So you can see, so this is a space for your API. So I'm just gonna paste the API. Where's the API? I think I copied it somewhere. Let me copy my API. I don't want people to see my API. We have a class, so I don't want them to see my API. Okay, so this at this point, this is where you now have to fit in your see there's a sidebar here. So this is where you're now entering your API token here. And then so we are testing with the iris dataset. We have diabetes, we have others. So we can just start with the iris dataset.
I can't see your screen.
Cannot see
I
my
can't
screen.
see your screen. I can't.
Is my screen showing now?
Yes, it's
Yes,
showing
I
now.
think it's the network.
Oh, okay. But you can see my screen now. Can you see my screen now? Hello?
Yes, I can see now.
Okay. So so here we just have the drag and drop where you can select the folder in which or the file which you want. So I've selected the iris dataset. So this is the iris dataset. And then here it has now saved it has not showed us the columns that are in the dataset. Then we can now ask a query about the data. So for instance, we can ask something like what are we supposed to ask? So something like this, the unique species, list the unique species, okay, of flowers. Okay, list the unique values in the species column. List the unique value in the species column. Your API. Okay. So at this point, so this is where you're now asking questions about the data set. So this is where you're asking questions about the data set. Then the model will have to return your query, a response. So I don't know why your API. Okay. So I think the issue is coming from your API. I don't know. I can't retrieve my own API. I should have used my API. I think for you to use your API, you have to enter your card details. Right? You have to enter your card details so you can have access to their inference models, like the one we are using. So the API we are using, I don't know. They don't want me to use my. I can't log into my login phase. I would have used my own API. So I can't use my own API. But at this point now, if your API, if you have entered your card details, at the admin phase environment here, so your API will now have access to the inference models. So when you now run queries like this, it's supposed to bring up a table. So a table is supposed to come up. Okay, so we can't have that here. We can't have that here because I don't have access to my. I think I've paid for my own phase, but I don't know what's up, like why I can't access the page. So I should have done that. So I should have used my own API. So when you're trying, you just need to enter your own API. You need to enter your own API at the sidebar and then upload any data set. It might not be Iris data set, any data set of your choice. You know, there's diabetes like me. I think I can upload a different data set aside from iris. So any data set of your choice, you just need to upload the data set and then you submit your query. So when you do that, it's supposed to come up. So this does not have the API that we are using, the current API we are using, does not have access to the inference model. So as such, we cannot test this. Okay. So I'll try probably do a demo video when my OpenAI uh, platform, even the OpenAI platform is back on my PC. I'll do a kind of a demo video and add it to uh, the code base so that it can be uploaded on the repo by the hosts. So that has been the size of it. That's how easy it is for someone to build a an agent, an AI agent, conversational AI agent that can actually take your file, your data set, then you just ask normal questions about your data set. It will now generate the queries, run the queries for you, and then bring up the results on the table. Thank you for actually listening. So I don't know if anybody have a question. I'd like to take one or two questions before I join on to the next meeting.
All right. Yes. So
Okay, go
thank
on.
you very much, speaker, for that very very insightful. So
There's a
so
hand
I
here.
think we have a question here. So Mr. Damilola, you can ask your question.
Okay. I want to say thank you to Mr. James for his wonderful presentation. My question is, can we also ask the data agent to do data visualization? Is it possible?
Yes, it's very, very possible to ask the AI agent to do data visualization. But one thing about the AI agents, I think you should have learned from we followed through the program. One thing about the AI agent is it acts based on the tools that are available to it. So the tools are more like the functionality. So like for this one, uh, what it can actually do, we only give it functionality to bring up a table. Okay, so we can actually add a functionality for it to plot graphs, to plot visuals. Okay, so it just depending on the tools that are available for the agents. So there's always a way for the agent to maneuver and then plot graphs and visuals for it. Then there's a side gig I'm working on. So it's a kind of a financial platform, a fintech. So we're trying to use AI agent to generate financial reports for all the users, like for the users, different users. So the financial reports will not look like the standard bank statements. So what we'll be having, we're going to be having your bank statement as well as an AI agent making sense of your bank statement. AI agent will have to tell you, oh, for this month, so time, this is what you spend so much on, and this, and it will now give you a chart, a graph that you will see your spending, so you can know at what month or at what week did I spend more and why, and you're able to answer that, and then as well as being able to uh, manage your work. Okay, do you have any question?
Wow, that's really really that's really really insightful, and it's good to see how you can now use AI agents in financial application, and I mean that's really really great. So do you have any other question? Okay, so in the absence of any other question, I'll just jump into the repository here, and so we are going to have all the code base, the recordings, and code uploaded to the repository. So you can just check it out. We have A1 and A2 uploaded as all details. So in the absence of any other question, we call it a day here. Do have a great day. We continue tomorrow, same time.